Good morning, and welcome to the Age of Enlightenment, a review. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you that we're going to be using Google Forms from now on to input our answers for the assignments. This will help me streamline grading and hopefully will help you have a easier place to submit your work. But right now, let's go ahead and review the Age of Enlightenment. First off, there are several names for the Age of Enlightenment. Yeah, the first one's Age of Enlightenment. That's pretty easy. I've said it several times. Second one is just simply the Enlightenment, or another one, the Age of Reason. Right? All of these are great names for it because this is a time period where people are gaining more knowledge, becoming smarter, becoming more enlightened about social issues and stuff of that nature. Right? And it's also a time period where they're learning how to use reason to get to the end of different arguments or to gain understanding for different views, right? Like you can disagree with me, but give me the evidence why. Don't just say, hey, I disagree, right? So let's jump into it. The reason it matters that we learn about the Enlightenment or the Age of Reason is that a lot of the freedoms that we enjoy here in America today and that countries all over the world enjoy are due to Enlightenment thinking. They were ideas that came out of this time period, right, and have had huge effects on the world. There are two main views of the government that come from the Enlightenment, and they come from these two men here, Hobbes and Locke. So let's look at their views. Thomas Hobbes, he took a more glass is half empty kind of point of view. He believed that all humans were naturally selfish and wicked, right? Hobbes argued that people had to hand over their rights to a strong ruler. In exchange, they gained law and order. Hobbes called this agreement with which people created a government the social contract. And we have, here in America, we have a form of that, right? Part of that is just a speed limit, right? I'll agree with him that people are wicked, have some selfishness. And I don't know about you or your parents who can drive because you're a seventh grader. But I know myself constantly have to rein myself back in to stay with the speed limit. So I wonder, hey, what if there was no speed limit? Would I be going all out with my foot to the ground in the car? Or would I regulate myself better? I don't know. Maybe Hobbes is on to some points there, but we have certain social contract obligations that we have to meet every day, whether that be taxes. As a society, we agree to pay taxes, or the speed limit. As a society, we agreed to drive the speed limit or get pulled over. I know if I'm speeding and I get pulled over, like I don't have much of an argument with the police officer. I'm gonna take my ticket and hopefully have the money to pay it, right? John Locke had a much more glass half full kind of idea of society and people. He believed that people could learn from experience and improve themselves. Right? He's not saying that people are bad or that they're good. I mean, he might agree with Hobbes that people have some evil in them. Right? He's just saying that they can learn from the evil and that good things doesn't come out of being a bad person. As reasonable beings, he said that humans have the natural ability to govern their own affairs and to look after the welfare of society. According to Locke, all people are born free and equal with three natural rights: life, liberty, and property. So John Locke and Hobbes, they had very different views. However, both of their views are going to be used in our government today. We can see life, liberty, and property, that is within we have those as constitutional rights. Right? And we have a social contract that we have here. So we've taken ideas from both Hobbes and Locke. There are five core concepts of the Enlightenment. You have reason, nature, happiness, progress, and liberty. Reason is truth can be discovered through reason or logical thinking. Nature is what is natural was also good and reasonable. Happiness, a rejection of the medieval notion that people should find joy in the hereafter and urge people to seek well-being on earth. If you remember when we talked about this in class, we mentioned the fact that before the Age of Enlightenment, there wasn't a lot of people that just spent all day trying to be happy. You know, like we have a society where you watch a commercial today and say, you deserve this. You should be happy. You know, do whatever that commercial is talking about. Go get a jet ski or buy this car. You deserve it, right? Those ideas would have never even been a thing prior to the Age of Enlightenment, or very rarely would be a thing, right? With the Age of Enlightenment, you have people saying, no, you don't have to wait to die to be happy. You can be happy now. Progress, society and humankind could improve. That's a concept that comes out of the Age of Enlightenment. And then liberty, a call for liberties like those included in the Bill of Rights. Prior to that, the only people that had rights were kings. Otherwise, you didn't really have any rights. Um, yeah, we're very close in history to the common man and woman having any kind of rights. All right, we got some main ideas from some thinkers. Another big thinker is Voltaire. He summed up his staunch defense of liberty in one of the most famous quotes. I do not agree with a word you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That one's huge. Right? We don't have to agree with each other, but I want you to be able to say your beliefs and talk about it all you want. Just like I want the ability to say my beliefs and have to talk about them all I want, even if you don't agree with me. And it's okay to disagree with people. Disagreements are part and a natural part of life. All right, then we have Montesquieu or Montesquieu. Proposed that separation of powers would keep any individual or group from gaining total control of government. We're going to have this separation of power within our own government here today. It's a system of checks and balances. It's going to later become the basis for the United States Constitution and is part of our three branches of government. And do y'all remember what the three branches of government are? Right, you got the legislative, they make the laws. That's your House of Representatives and your senators. Right, those two groups. That's Congress. Then you have the judicial. They are the judges, and they make sure that the laws are still constitutional. And then you have the executive. That's the president. Right, they execute the law, make sure that the laws are actually being done and held. Within that checks and balances, it means that one group can't make laws that are unconstitutional, but because the judicial branch, right, the legislative branch makes the laws. If it's not constitutional, judicial branch comes and says that's not constitutional, and so that law is taken out and thrown away, right? We talked about the checks and balances where if the president wants to declare war, he can't just declare war by himself, right? We have a president, the commander in chief, to protect us from other countries trying to attack us, right? He can go and protect us, but to declare war, he's got to go to Congress and get a declaration of war from Congress and request a declaration of war. If they vote no, well, guess what? We're not going to war. If they vote yes, okay, they agree. That check has balanced out. We'll go to war. But a president can't just go declare war on his own because of Montesquieu's separation of powers. Then we have Rousseau. He believed that only good government was one that was freely formed by the people and guided by the general will of society. This is a direct democracy. Right here in the United States, we have a form of direct democracy. It's tied in with a republic where we do some direct democracy voting, and then we have representatives within the republic that represent us. So we're not voting for every little thing that comes up. It would be very time consuming in a huge nation like us. And then we have Beccaria. He held that laws existed to preserve the social order, not avenge crimes, which is quite the opposite from how we do stuff today, right? If someone burns my house down and we catch that arsonist, they're thrown in jail. But my house isn't taken care of. If I have insurance, like, yeah, sure, but he's not paying for that house. Beccaria is going to say, like, look, if I burn your house down, I pay for you a new house, not some insurance company that had nothing to do with the breaking of that law. Okay, so it's a little different idea for how law and social order would work, but not a bad idea, right? Other nations are still doing Beccaria's suggestion there. So anyways, that is our video for today.